Okay, tell me the first of your ideas, Navjot.
Uh, Firstly, they both have a same root or their basic level that they explain the world that surrounds us, but they have a difference in explaining the world to us. The art is more about emotions, characters, and thoughts of the human being, and they have subjective ideas, and they are very intuitive.
Mm,
On the other hand, the science is based on facts
mm.
and the theories. So art is more about emotions, and they give you an realistic image of the world.
Okay, good points, but what you're trying to do is that you're trying to combine a lot of points, emotions, and as in
Uh,
into. Okay, let me put forth my point. So
okay,
that's a problem in IELTS essays, as in you can't be too generic. I'll show you
okay,
why. Um, can you see the band descriptors in front of you?
yes,
So I show you something. Yeah. So what you're doing is presents,
supporting.
extends, and supports main ideas, but there may be a tendency to overgeneralize and or supporting ideas may lack focus. So what you're trying to
Okay,
do is that you are giving a picture that is encompassing everything that is there on the plate. Try
okay,
to have okay. Since you have not known you've not known the band descriptors, but Isha has. Uh, I'm going to show you something. A band 9 IELTS task 2 would require presents a fully developed position in answer to the question with relevant, fully extended, and well supported ideas. Right, since I'm going to make you do one essay today, you will know how to do that. But
okay,
first thing first, as in you cannot be writing something that is multidimensional in one paragraph. So stick to
okay,
one thing. And
okay,
also, there was a problem with your thought, and that another problem actually, and that was that you were trying to give what
differentiate,
you were trying to give
comparison.
no you were trying to give what science can also give us, but that has not
Okay,
been asked.
okay,
What can the arts tell us about life that science cannot? So since
okay,
you were saying something of this sort that science can tell us something realistic, we do not need to write that.
okay,
It's about what the first thing can tell that the second cannot, and not what the first thing can tell and what the second thing can tell. You do not have to tell the
okay,
examiner what the second thing can tell.
okay.
So that
So
was a
here
bit
the
off topic. Yeah.
so here the question is only that what arts can do, and
Yeah,
that cannot be done by the science.
exactly.
Okay,
On
so
point.
focus only can and cannot.
Yeah, as in they
Okay,
can be one thing that is a can for the first category and a cannot for the second one.
okay, got it.
And how you write, as in, Isha, allow me 1 minute, as in, I need to show her the format and then we'll ask your points.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you can see this, Navjot, that IELTS requires us to organize our essays into paragraphs. And it
Okay.
has also suggested a technique that we can use to write paragraphs. There's a condition in
Okay.
the band descriptors that one paragraph should deal with only one idea, and I stick to that. And also, as in what should be there in that paragraph is displayed in front of you, as in you can always write a paragraph using this technique: peel, point, example, explain, and link. Mine is a bit different. I write point, explain, example, but that's just a reordering of what is in front of you. So take a
Okay.
point in a paragraph, explain it, give its example, and you have done the thing. Do not be writing something that is, again, as I said earlier also, that is giving away everything that you have in your mind. That
Okay.
would overgeneralize the thing. As in, that was a feature of band 7, and that is your threshold. As in, that is the bare minimum that you require.
Okay.
So we cannot do anything of that sort. We'll have to aim for higher, so that you know, in the worst case scenario, you get the 7 thing.
Okay.
Okay, so as we can see, um, so this you have known that a paragraph should have a point, it should have its explanation, and it should have its example also. And as was the case with that essay, why I told you to think up 3 ideas, because we have to make at least 250 words. One IELTS essay has to have at least 250 words. So sometimes it happens that we are not able to reach that point with only two ideas or something. So to be on a safer side, I always think of 3 ideas. If it
Mm.
happens that I'm able to cover that requirement in with only 2 ideas, then I do not write the third idea. But still, as in, the ideas should be with you before you write an essay.
Okay.
Isha, now tell me your idea.
Sir, I have written that artists, in the terms of monetary terms,
Mhm.
artists are given more value. Like more the age of the thing, greater is the price. Whereas in science, it like more the advancement, less is the value. The value starts depreciating.
Isha, it's not about what we give the arts and what we give the science, but vice versa. What the arts give us and what the science cannot give us. As in, there should be a point of commonality, of course. Be careful. What you have said is that what we do for the artists and what we do for the scientists, and that to how it varies on account of the age factor. But be careful. It's not about the, I would say, export thing from our side, but the import thing. Be careful. What can the arts tell us about life that science cannot?
Main center is about life. That who tells more, science or art?
No, again, not more, but
No, I'm
it, it's
okay.
it's not about more. Be careful. It's about what is there and what is not there. So 100%, 0%, not
Okay, okay,
maybe
okay.
80-20.
Okay, okay, got it. So one like 1-0 ratio.
Exactly.
Okay, okay, okay.
Isha, have I made my point clear?
Yes, sir. That like what I have written is according to our point of view, not about life.
What you have said is how we reward them, but it is not that thing. It is that what we receive
What they
from
tell
them,
them.
what we
Yes,
receive from them.
yes.
Okay, let me help you guys now. So the first thing that has come to my mind is that okay, let me start the pen. Okay, let's read the question. In today's world of advanced science and technology, many still greatly value artists such as um, musicians, painters, and writers. What can the arts tell us about life that science cannot? Okay, the first thing that came to my mind was uh, that, okay, what has happened to the pen? One second, I think there's a technical glitch. Yeah, it's okay. That the arts can tell us that there's a joy factor in life. Let me explain to you guys what this means. As in, when we read something scientific, when we read something, I would say that is experimental, empirical, and all, we tend to get to know that what the reasons are behind the processes. As in, for instance, if I'll study evaporation, I would get to know how maybe the water, gets changed into vapors and all, and what the surrounding mechanisms are. But when we get to know but when we study art, or when we see musical performances, or when we listen to music, maybe when we study paintings or even only see them, we kind of get a feeling that has more to do with emotions. We will feel something that is going to give us happiness. For instance, okay, we have maybe when we read organic chemistry, we get to know how these organic molecules and
Molecules and
all organic compounds and all, they combine and react in order to form these products and all. And that is going to give us knowledge, that is going to give us something that has more of a commercial element. But when we suppose I'm reading a novel by maybe Jane Austen, so what I will get is I will get happiness. Okay, I'm not saying that Jane Austen is going to give me happiness, but maybe a book in general. So okay, maybe I'm watching a comedy, maybe watching but I think he has okay, it's a such as thing. So maybe I'm watching a comedy act, or maybe I'm listening to a very romantic song. So that is gonna give me internal happiness, and not something that is gonna make me understand what life is by virtue of its, I would say, processes. So the arts can render, you know, happiness, whereas science is going to give us knowledge. And it can science, sorry, science cannot give us that. It is solely reliant on the knowledge aspect. Do you agree with me?
yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Another thing that I thought was that there can be a spiritual, I would say, parameter of life. Not as in the when again when we study science, when we read scientific discoveries, what we get to know is how logical the world is. So we kind of get away from the spiritual pursuits. But when we, when we listen to music, when we see something painted that is astounding, we kind of feel that there is more to the world than you know just these I would say scientific bonds or links. So you kind of get this feeling that there can be God, there can be a spiritual part of life, and that cannot be there when we have known all the reasons behind this world, so which of course the science gives us. So the arts can actually make give us that spiritual taste of life.
Okay.
um, Isha,
Yes, sir.
fine. I'll have to give you one more idea. One second. Let me think one more. Yeah. So the arts can tell us as in how a morally, I would say, um, ethical life, or maybe a life full of integrity can be led, whereas science can only gonna tell us as in how maybe humans breathe. Science can tell us how the biological processes operate, whereas the arts are gonna tell us that how if a person lives with kindness, with morality, with honesty, how he can as in lead a very beautiful life and can make the world a better place. For instance, you can refer to maybe of a character from a movie, as in how maybe he's gonna he actually did something for society and how he made the world a better place. Maybe okay, we can think of a character afterward. So but science is going to tell us as in what the reason was for this thing, and what material advancements we can make in this regard. But the arts will tell us as in how we can improve the world in a abstract in an abstract way, I would say, in a moral way, in
Okay.
so the thing I would say, for the third point, I would say values, maybe. Isha, clear? Navdeep?
Sir, but the thing is like
Yes,
it
sir.
is more connected to spiritual parameter only.
Spiritual parameter I connected with God, as in science negates the possibility of God being there, whereas the arts actually connect us to Him. Values is more about what we are doing in society, and not on account of the theological aspect.
Right, sir?
Sure,
Yes, sir.
fine. So since I have come up with three ideas, I would be ready to write the essay. So that is I'm gonna do with you guys now. So let's see. Okay, so the first paragraph, Navdeep, since it's your first essay class, is
Yes.
about an introduction. And you did academic IELTS in your time, so
Yes.
it's more or less the same way. And okay, do you remember how you used to write the introduction to an essay?
Uh, we just explain what we're going to do, but do not disclose your main ideas and
Mm-hmm.
conclusion in the first paragraph. It's just a simple, like, you deform the question. It's like that.
And deformation would be, I would say, a wrong thing. You do not deform a thing. It's okay. What you were saying otherwise was very good. As in an introduction. Okay. there is a little less clarity on that account, as in I've
Okay.
just noted the trends and I've just read the official IELTS essays and all. And on that, ground, I have made a mechanism that you can use to write an introduction. So the first thing is that I would not, okay, one of the components that you have to take care of is the paraphrasing part.
Okay.
Paraphrasing is when you change words, as in when you write something else for something in front of you, as in for word you might write the earth and all. But that's not the only thing about an introduction. What you have to write is, it should be something interesting. It should be something that is gonna be a hook for the reader, in your case the examiner, so that he gets an idea of what you're going to write down the road, and he actually likes it also. So Isha,
Okay.
I hope you remember this thing.
Yes, sir. Like
Sure.
in
You
introduction.
fell ill, so I sympathize with you, as in if you have forgotten, I can repeat.
So you may repeat, please.
Okay, yeah. So an introduction, Isha and Navjot, is something that since I've thought my ideas, since I have actually, you know, have if I have had a framework in my mind that I'm gonna develop these ideas, an introduction should also be based on them. An introduction should also be writing something that is gonna introduce how I'm gonna develop those things. Of course,
Okay.
it has to stick to what is there in the question also, but that can be left to the paraphrasing part only, because that's gonna repeat the essay prompt just with different words. So
Okay.
let's try and write an introduction. As in, you guys write in your notebook. I'll ask you after you've written the thing. I'm going to write an introduction in front of you, but I do not do anything offhand. So I'll have to think for a minute and then I'll write it and then I'll explain it to you. But you guys have to do the same thing in your notebooks. So go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, let me revise it and I need to see if I've made any error or not. Okay, let's see. Humans are inquisitive. Their queries at that are about not only logic but also the abstract. As a result, in the current scenario, a great many individuals prize performers and artists. So, if we see the given prompt in today's world of advanced science and technology, many still greatly value artists such as musicians, painters, and writers. Now, remember, such as means examples. So you may leave out that part. You do not need to write examples. Our main point of focus was artists. Many still greatly value artists such as musicians, painters, and writers. But can the arts tell us about life that science cannot? So this is despite the fact that the current worldly sentiments are hugely affected by scientific advancements. Actually, this is not wrong because the arts have virtues that science lacks. Have you understood, or need I throw light on any of the aspects?
What's the difference between logic and abstract?
Abstract are things that are not, I would say,
Real?
no, not okay. You can say real, but that are not material, I would say,
Okay.
for which we may not have logic, maybe scientific logic. Let's say,
Okay.
for instance, I would say, let's take the example of honesty, maybe. So
Okay.
honesty cannot be measured. Honesty cannot be, I would say, you cannot have an experiment and say that this sample has has a greater degree of sorry, has a higher degree of honesty than that one. So things that are not the that are not there to be, I would say, contained materially are the abstract.
Okay.
And in this case, as in but because the points we had thought were actually very material, very abstract, no, spiritual, joy and values. So as I told you earlier, as in you have to give a glimpse of what you are gonna expand on later in the essay. So that's why I did this thing.
Okay.
Navdeep, what about you?
Mm, me, I understand this.
Okay.
Or I do. Okay.
Be frank as in ask.
No, no, good. I understand.
Okay, so a good paraphrase, a good introduction would have something as a backdrop, and it should change some words from the given prompt also. As in, if you can see, in today's world, I've written in the current scenario, many, a great many individuals
Mm,
value price. Of course, I could not think of a substitute for artists, so I actually accompanied it with performers, so that still it
performance.
it would give a you know a hint of variety. And then this is despite the fact that the current worldly sentiments are hugely affected by scientific advancements. So science and technology, I changed it to scientific advancements. And I think the last thing is what it's actually an answer to the question, and the answer is going to be developed further. Right. So now we will develop uh, our body paragraphs, as in how we and what those virtues are, as in what I've written in the last sentence, as in there are some virtues that are there, uh, that can be given to us by the arts, but not science. So I'll tell them one by one. So I'm going to raise the things on the board. One second. Navdeep, you can go beyond 250. Okay. What they tell is that this is a recent IELTS essay, so it doesn't have all the instructions. But if you
Okay.
go to a Cambridge book, and if you see, as in, I would say, the instructions regarding an IELTS task, it is written that you have to write at least 250 words. So you can go beyond that, as in you can write 300 words, you can write 350, 285. The only problem is that you cannot be 249 maybe.
Okay. So
Getting
you
me?
cannot be less than. Okay. But you
We
can go
cannot
more.
be we cannot write fewer words, but we can write more for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Fine.
So there is
So
a
yeah, go.
there is because there are some students they take more sheets, extra sheets to write the tasks.
Yeah, there is no extra point for writing more, but writing is a very, I would say, elastic term. So some people have this tendency to write more in order to explain better. Some people
Okay.
are more concise, so it's
Okay.
okay. It's perfectly fine. Just that don't be any less than 250.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So as I had told you, as in you had to write your paraphrasings also. So could I ask one of you to recite what you have written? Maybe Isha?
Sir, not written like I've written just simple only that science and art are both aspects of life. Like
Mhm.
not that much.
It's okay. Fine. So let's see. Let's write body paragraph.
So I've got a new point regarding this.
Go ahead.
Uh, like art has no limit. It is formed out of imagination,
Mhm.
whereas sciences stick to number of numbers and formula.
I would.
We can.
It's right. Maybe you can. What you have said is something what can be a property of the arts and what is
Mhm.
not a property of science. I would like to reframe it, as in the arts can tell us that life can be limitless, whereas science is gonna, postulate that life is, restricted to certain scientific mechanisms. You said art is limitless. I say art makes us think
I
that life is limitless.
okay, sir. So means can we elaborate this?
Of course, the point was right. I think the formation was a bit sloppy. It's okay. Otherwise, as in it could be changed to the requirements of the essay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So I'm going to write a body paragraph for you. Let's see. Okay, this was complete, but give me a minute. Okay. So, as we discussed, as in joy is a, I would say, is a result of the arts and not science. So I have explained that here to begin with. Oh, this is only one paragraph, Lavdeep. Okay,
Okay.
as in you do not have a break between them. Just that because of the scarcity of space here, I have had to write one subpart here and the other there, but it's just one thing.
Okay.
To begin with, artistic offerings help us be happy. Science only, okay, this is full stop afterward. Science only leads us to a state in which we understand life processes. As a consequence of this understanding, we feel enlightened but not happy. For instance, what happiness did chemistry give us at school? The arts, on the contrary, prove that joy exists. We feel happiness, enthusiasm, and hope owing to great songs, portraits and novels. For example, think of a time you had a surreal feeling after reading a motivational book.
Mm.
Okay, understood, both of you?
Yes, sir, it's clear. So, but
Okay,
we have given two examples in this.
no problem. As in, again, as I've told you, you have to meet the the requirements for the minimum. There is no maximum in IELTS.
Okay.
Let me confirm the spelling of portrait. I may have written it wrong once.
Portrait.
One
Pot.
one sec. No, it's right.
No, it's
Spellings.
good.
Sorry,
It's good.
I think the spelling is right. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So understood, Isha, and okay. So what your homework is that you have to write the using a similar pattern. I'm not saying that the pattern that I've given you is the only one, but I think it meets the requirements. So using a similar pattern or the same pattern, you have to develop the next body paragraphs, the 2 points we wrote, as in spiritual and
Values.
values. If you want, I can give an oral, I would say, expansion of either or both, but they have to be framed by you.
Okay.
um, do we agree, Isha?
Yes, sir, you can give some oral explanation.
Okay, you need explanation that I can give, but they will be written by you guys only.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then okay, we can leave out conclusion at this point. When you have written the two body paragraphs, I'll tell you how to write a conclusion. Okay, so let me have that I would say spiritual body paragraph in my mind, and then you know I'll explain to you the thing. Give me 1 minute just.
Okay.
But that's going to be a rough idea. Do not just
Blindly follow it.
you do not just give a written form to what written form to my oral expressions right now. I'm just going to give you what it can look like. What it is going to look like should be I would say pictured by you guys.
Okay.
Okay, maybe similarly the arts are devoid of you know material logic, so they kinda they sorry not, do not write kinda, so they connect us to something that is beyond the understanding of humans, and maybe that is what we refer to as god. On the other hand, science is actually about getting to know what is there in this world, and there exists I would say no metaphysical entity. Um, so that might restrict our vision to maybe, before we can understand anything beyond the life processes. Just a brief thing. And as an example, you can give this thing that many scientists turn into atheists when they have made discoveries and when they have learned a lot, whereas artists have always actually maybe uh, vouched for the presence of god. Maybe every singer would actually maybe you know take the name of the deity he maybe praise to or something before even starting his performance. So this example you can give. um, Fair enough,
Yes,
Isha
yes, sir, it's fair enough.
and Navdeep. Oh,
Yes,
sorry, Navjot.
yes.
Navjot. Sorry,
It's okay.
I have many
Yes.
Navdeeps and many Navjots as students. Sorry. So yeah,
Okay.
understood. Okay, and about the values, as in, do you need an expansion on that, Isha?
No, sir, not on values because that we can elaborate.
And are you Isha? Oh, sorry, and Navdeep.
No, no.
Navjot.
No, no. No problem. No problem.
Okay, values.
Yes.
Need I expand on that?
No, no. No. We will do.
Fine. So this is about the writing part, and Navjot, I'll give you some PDFs also regarding. Okay, did you watch that general reading test thing? You know, regarding what was there, as in how the reading test or something. The
I
video, my
haven't
YouTube video.
watched
Okay,
the. No, I
so
haven't watched it, but I have did one reading form. what we see.
Okay, I gave you a book. Yeah. So did you
Yes,
do a
and
reading test on it?
yes, I did. And I have the confusion between not given.
Okay, it's okay. As in, what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna turn off this class.
Okay.
But I'll have to. Isha has to, I think, go to her work earlier. So I'm gonna conduct her speaking test first, and then I'll make a
Okay.
call to you, a WhatsApp call to you. Okay, we can stay connected here also, no problem. Just as in, put it to the silent mode. The one who is not performing right now. And Isha, are you ready for the speaking test right now?
Yes, sir, absolutely fine.
Yeah. So one second.